Alrighty, welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1399 and Doubleshot number 1293. Yes, next episode is the 1400th episode of the series. And when we cover for that one, well, you'll find out and see. It'll be quite interesting to talk about these next two books for that one. Okay, but this episode, first I'm talking about a book called The End. Yes, this was a series of one-shots that came out, I think it was a couple years ago, I think it was. Actually, no, this was last year. Now, yeah, this is a series of one-shots for The End for Captain America, Deadpool, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Miles Morales, and Venom. Some of these books are actually written by their current showrunners, the current writers of the books. Now, the other books you could definitely say are written by the actual writers of the main book is Captain Marvel and Miles Morales. Captain Marvel, Kelly Thompson, Miles Morales, Saladin Ahmed. Now, the people who work on these other ones, this is quite interesting. Now, I'll get to Captain America last. This will shock you. Venom is done by Adam Warren. Artwork by Jeffrey Kamba Cruz. Damian Scott does the artwork for Miles Morales. Doctor Strange by Leah Williams, who's the current writer for X Factor. Philip Andrews does the artwork. Deadpool is done by Joe Kelly, which I believe this is the first time he's worked on Deadpool, recently. He worked on Spider-Man Deadpool. And Mike Hawthorne. Now, this will shock you. Okay? Now, who worked on the Captain America one-shot? Okay, I'm going to show you the artwork. This will surprise you. Anybody recognize this art style? Well, it's Eric Larson. Yes, the guy who's the creator of Savage Dragon. Yeah, it is quite something that he got a chance to work at Marvel again. I think at the time this one-shot came out, it had been like a good 20 years since he actually did anything from Marvel, because I don't think he worked on much of anything. Let's see if I can find him here. Let's see. Let's see. I think... No, that's not what I'm looking for here. Yeah, here he is. No, that's... Okay, here we go. Found you. Okay. The last known Marvel book he worked on prior to this... Let's see. Before he worked on this one-shot... Oh, it had been some time. I think the last official book he worked on for Marvel... Let's see. It may have been Peter Parker's Spider-Man. That may have been his last book he worked at Marvel. Let's see if I can find a good thing here. Yeah, I'm sorry I did this research. But yeah, because it seemed like, though, it had been some time since working on anything from Marvel Comics. Yeah. Prior to this one-shot coming out, I think the last official thing he worked on for Marvel was Peter Parker Spider-Man. Yeah, that was the last book he worked on. That was back in I'd say about 2001, I think it was. So yeah, it's been about 20 years he worked on anything from Marvel Comics. Now, what happens in these one-shots, per se? The Captain America one, okay, this one is Captain America in sort of a basically a commanding book. Yeah. Where he basically is in a commanding-style book. What do I mean by commanding-style book? Well, mostly put, it is mostly like the classic Jack Kirby one. Because, Steve Rogers is a Captain America, is a Jack Kirby character, so I guess he must have figured, okay, put him in a scenario where he does that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, you have the Red Skull pop up here, a whole bunch of them. Yeah, but the way if you notice, basically Larson's style, what he draws. It's a very similar art style to the late Jack the King Kirby. I'm sure it's as a tribute to him, because a lot of his stories are going to be very much out there. But at least he doesn't have the the space-colored pink. It's a fun one-shot where Captain America just happens to find a helicarrier and looks like he loses, but he wins anyways. But it's a great one-shot. As for Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel apparently is still young in the 2050s. Or she encounters Gary Drew. It's almost like this book you can kind of say this is mostly a book you can basically put at some point in the main Captain Marvel book. Just have it like a flash forward. Yep. Doctor Strange was interesting where Doctor Strange is completely all white. Yep. Plus you gotta love the artwork for his one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, let's see if I can find him here. Yeah. Where he's like really. Plus, I love this cover. It's a great looking cover, and it's done in the style of like the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange. Matter of fact, the symbols that they do here are actually from the actual movie, which something he does not technically do. The hand signs he does in the comics, yes, but the images he does here, that's from the movie. Yes. Yeah, and he just basically faced like a punk-ass future, per se. Now, is this done in the style of what something Steve Ditko would do? No, not really. It's just basically just a future for him where he is, well, just does stuff. But it's a really good one-shot. Now, in the case of Deadpool is pretty much normal, meets his daughter, doesn't do very much of that one. It's a okay one. The Miles Morales one was interesting. This one, you can definitely say, yeah, it is definitely the end for him. Where he's the mayor of Brooklyn, and get this, his deputy mayor is the daughter of Genki. Yes, his best friend. Which, saying that, I'm like, yeah, the writer of it just doesn't care to write him. Oh yeah, write him in this future where apparently he's working with his daughter. Of course, Miles and stuff does apparently die. Yeah, but it's a very well written one shot. Venom the End. This one's really weird. It's a cover you see here on the cover of this trade. It just simply put him going around the various different symbiotes over the year, like various different hosts. Like who could be a potential host to the Venom symbiote besides Eddie frickin' Brock? And who did he choose? Let's see. Aside from Eddie Brock, well, they also mentioned Tara Carr, who I think was the original host, Peter Parker, Anna Wang, who was Eddie Brock's ex-wife and the mother of his child. Let's see, who else do they have here? Let's see, they also have frickin' AI Tony Stark. Yep, they have him be the host. Yes. We also have Jamie Mandrix be a host. Yeah, that's interesting. Jamie Mandrix. Which, that's interesting. We also had Storm. Let's see. Quicksilver. This mysterious one, I think it might be Anna, but they don't really say who it is. Even Rogue, Tempest Spell, Magic, and Time Slip. Yep. And then he ends up back here, and it's like various ruins of various Celestials. And that's it. But this actually is pretty good. I liked it. Like, if you think of like what is the weakest one-shot here, like the Captain America one's really good. I think Doctor Strange is really good. Miles Morales is interesting. I would say the weakest one-shot here is probably Deadpool. Yeah, just okay. I give the book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. All right, next up is another book that's a series of one-shots. Dark Knight, Death Metal, the Multiverse Who Laughs. Now, a second one basically discussing the tie-ins for Dark Knight Death Metal. The one-shots, a lot of them. You have Robin King, Rise of the New God, Infinite Hour Extreme, Multiverse Laughs, name covers the trade, and Secret Origin. Single order education, don't know what the story of this one is. I'm sorry, this one first because this one's quite interesting. It's all about Superboy Prime. Yep, it's Superboy Prime type of story. Multiverse laughs. I think it focuses on the Batman. I think it focuses on just stuff with the multiverse. If I think it's focused on Lobo. Robin King, obviously Robin King. Rise of the New God. I don't remember what this one is. Oh yeah, focus on Metron. Now, who does some of these one-shots are interesting. Yes. Let me scoot my chair up here. Now, Scott Snyder writes a good chunk of these. Yes. The writers of these one-shots are Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns, James Hendon IV, Peter Tomasi, Brian Hill, Tony Patrick, Frank Terry, Becky Cohen, Sam Humphries, Josh Williamson, Pat Oswalt, Amanda Carr, Jeremy Palmiani, Sadiq Ahmed, Brandon Thomas. Arc by Riley Ruspo, Daniel Sempar, Jesus Morano, Nick Barlera, Tyler Kirkham, Rag Morales, Dennis Cohen, Juan Gooden, Suffer Green, Chad Harden, Scott Eaton, Tom Mandrake, Francis Menopole, Jerry Ordway, Ryan Benjamin, Paul Pelletier, Bill Sienkiewicz, Norp Rampman, Rachel Fiend, and Richard Fiend, and Vincent Kalfutis, I think it's pronounced name. The cover here is by Chris Burnham and Nathaniel Fairburn. Yes. Now, Robin King, if I can find the right page here. Let's see. This story is done by, well, sometimes these ones, they don't list up. Okay, here we go. This one's done by Peter Tomasi and artwork by Riley Russo. Yeah, it's just a story focused on the Robin King. That's simply for what this one is. Yeah, it's the same artist working on the Batman Shadow book. I think it's my mom, basically. Yeah. Okay, now, that's one of the stories in this one. We also have the Quiet Ones. Tony Patrick, and Daniel Sempar. Yeah, that's one who does. This is just that's one who does this one. It's a weird one, focusing on some of the Batman supporting characters. Yep. The Rise New God. This one's done by Jameson IV. It's mostly just Dark Multiverse, just versus Pepper Girl, I think her name is. The one who's the mother of the Anti-Monitor. Yep. And Timmy basically writes this thing with artwork by Jesus Marno, which is really good art. I think this one also worked on some of the Justice League, but I think it was one of the artists for Justice League. It's a really good one-shot. You have The Light of War, done by Brian Hill and Nick Bard. Just a story featuring the Green Lanterns during the events of Dark Knight Death Metal. This is the extreme one. Yeah, it's focused on Lobo. Of course it's Lobo. Who is the most extreme '90s character who could basically do extreme? Lobo. He counters Lex Luthor. It's basically what he was up to during this whole thing. Yeah, that's done by, well, that's like part 1. The Batman Frogs. That's done by Frank Terry and Tyler Kirkham. Part 2 is done by Becky Cohen and Rags Morales. There's many people work on this one shot. Yep, on this particular one. And this story has a counter with Hawkman, which I always think is so cool whenever he counters really cool characters. You have Superman by Lobo, Legends of Batman, Lobo. It's Lobo's take on the orders of Batman and Superman, which I think is so funny. Wonder Woman by Lobo, which is hilarious. Yep. We even have freaking Brainiac in a dress. I think this is so funny. Because of course it's Lobo. And then there's a whole bunch of Lobo. Lobo Land, done by Sam Humphries. Yes, Sam Humphries does this thing. Now, the next one is, I believe it's The Multiverse Laughs. The first story in here. This is Scary Stories Tell of the Multiverse by Scott Snyder, James IV, and Joshua Williamson, with artwork by Jillian Giddon. Yeah, it's just basically them telling scary stories about various characters. And you have the Patton Oswalt story, Feeding the Beast, which this one is a focus on Victor Zsasz. Yes. Yeah. It's a story focused on Victor Zsasz. I mean, who would knew that Victor Zsasz like a solo story for a crossover story? Yeah. You have a Super Threats done by Amanda Connor and Jim Palmiotti with Chad Harden. This is a crypto. This is all about the super pets, which I love this. This is so freaking good. Yep. And then you have a different story featuring a future version of Hal Jordan and Green Arrow. This is a sound almost called Hard Travel. Yeah, that's just a 2-page. It's just a few-page story, and that's simply it. And then you have The Fear Index by Brandon Thomas and Tom Mandrake. And Tom Mandrake, in case you know, he's a really good artist. You were thinking that Hammer's gonna. Is that Thor coming in? Nope. It's just basically Bane and various other characters. It's most of the focus. It's basically a Steel story. Now, as for Secret Origin, this one, you can tell by the artwork, it looks like a Gary Frank style story, but I would say Gary Frank did this cover art, which is really good here. Yeah. Now, who does this one shot? Oh boy, this one will actually kind of surprise you, because it's all about Superboy Prime. Yep. Because, like usual, they don't list out the creative team at the very end. This is done by Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns. Yes. Artwork by a bunch of artists. Gerard Way, Francis Manapul, Ryan Benjamin, and Richard Fiend. Paul Bleach and Nora Ram. Hi-Fi. Ian Harding, Ryan Bedrell, and Andrea Lucas, who's the colorist. Well, yeah. Great set of one-shots. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. I think there's still like 1 or 2 more books left to go for Dark Knight Death Metal. Those have to collect this particular crossover. Yeah, I think so. I think there's still like, I think there might be like 1 more left. I believe so. Yeah, I think it's like just 1 more. Yeah, just 1 more left, and that's just basically. Yeah, there's basically like 1 more trade left, and that's the one we'll deal with Justice League. Yeah, that's really all that's left. Basically, just Justice League. Because I've covered pretty much almost the entirety of this particular crossover. Yeah. It's interesting, though, it's like that. Yeah. So, not much else to say about this trade. It's good. Really good. Still got 1 more trade left, and then that's it. Gotta wait for it to come out. It's probably come out for quite a while, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it for Sick of You. Next one's going to be Doctor Who. Okay? But see you next video. Bye.